Is Colombia safe?
Me llamo Marissa, soy una gringa.
When I first told people I was going to Colombia to visit and to live, I got these kind of reactions. Are you crazy? Are you sure? Please don't die. Why Colombia? Don't do it. Have you seen Narcos? Please be careful in cartel land. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I was definitely a little bit scared, paranoid, and nervous, and I searched for hours on the internet of, things to do, how to survive, the quality and cost of living, etc. By the way, if you want to see this video in Spanish, you can click here or in the link below because I did a Spanish version of this video. And I also wanted to give a huge shout out to Centro Catalina Spanish School in Colombia because that school is the reason I learned Spanish, and I learned more in 3 months at that school than I did in my entire 4 years of high school. So now, to answer the question, is Colombia safe? Of course it is! And let me tell you, I am definitely in love with the country. It definitely stole my heart. I love the people, the culture, the food, the music. I lived in Medellin, Colombia for 3 months, so a lot of this information will be based around that city. And of course I could say today I'm alive, well, living, and more healthy than ever. In the last 10 to 15 years, the country and Medellin itself has really transformed and blossomed since the cartels and Pablo Escobar. Now, I compare Medellin to any big city in the United States. For example, Los Angeles. Los Angeles is a great city. It has great culture, great areas, great places to visit, but also has some extremely dangerous areas to visit that you just don't go to. But clearly, the fact that LA has dangerous areas and cities doesn't exclude people or limit people, millions of people that is, from visiting LA every single year. It is sad that our society is addicted to drama, and highlighting the bad goes way further than highlighting the good sometimes. For example, a robbery, a bombing, a scam. News of these sorts of things goes way further and travels so much faster. And yes, of course, there are several areas in Medellin and in all of the country of Colombia that are still dangerous, and you just don't go there, especially because there's areas where they still play by their own rules and it's their territory. But just so you know, tourism in Colombia is rising, about 15% every single year in comparison to the rest of the popular destinations in the world, which is about an average of 4% every year. And right now, I wanted to give you some advice on things not to do so you could be sure to enjoy your stay and your travels in Colombia. Now, the first thing is don't give papaya. Now, in Espanol, it's no dar papaya. And what that means is don't be flashy with your things. Be careful with your cash, the iPhones and electronics that you may carry in the street. This was a problem for me because I am a YouTuber, and it was important not to take my camera into places where I could be vulnerable and people would want to rob my camera. And that goes for just in general. Don't try to stand out and be obnoxious. Don't be loud, and don't bring unnecessary things with you like credit cards, passports, or laptops in your backpack unless you absolutely have to. The next thing is don't go out alone at night. Always try to be in a big group, because if not, you're sometimes a very vulnerable target. Be very careful inside of a nightclub with your drinks, because it is one of the most common things for somebody to drug your drink, especially actually for the guys. I've heard of way more cases of guys getting drugged than girls, because they tend to think they're unstoppable, and it's happened more so in the cases I've heard with guys. And for the women, be very careful with taxi drivers. Make sure it's a legit taxi. Take a picture of the outside of the taxi, because some taxi drivers do have, bad intentions and somewhat disrespectful, but just be careful with taxi drivers in general. And the last thing, speaking of taxis and Ubers, please lock the doors when you get inside, because sometimes there have been cases where people on motorbikes or scooters come and they will rob you. They'll just open the door and boom, take your things. Alright, so now that we got that out of the way, now I can tell you about the amazing things and the things to do that I recommend both in Medellin and Cartagena. In Cartagena, I was only there for a week, so I'll say a couple things, but these are actually my favorite places to see and things to do in the city. Now, the first place I recommend if you're in Medellin, and specifically El Poblado, I recommend Parque Lleras, because it's the heart of El Poblado and the city of Medellin. It's got a bunch of nightclubs and bars, restaurants, little shops where you can buy a whole bunch of things. Also, the food is amazing. Most of the restaurants have great things to try. different variety of food. And while you're there, try an arepa with queso, an empanada, or bandeja paisa. Bandeja paisa is a typical plate, and those are typical foods in Medellin. Comuna 13 is the next place I recommend. It's pretty much a must-see place, and it's one of the most special places in the city because just 15 years ago, it was considered one of the most dangerous places in the whole entire country and has a history full of violence and war. Now, the comuna has completely transformed and is very tourist friendly. There's beautiful graffitis. There's the government helped with a new project to add the electric escalators so people can get up and down the hills more easily. And one of my favorite things to get there is crema de mango. It's a delicious little ice cream. And this area is now a glimpse of the reality, the culture, and the way of life in Colombia. Jardin botanico. In the middle of Medellin and Bello is a natural reserve dedicated to all of the vegetation of Antioquia. The reserve has more than 250 species of plants and also works as a natural conservation for exotic animals like iguanas, fishes, birds. And you can come here to relax a little bit, read a book, have a picnic, do some meditation, and escape the city. Santo Domingo. If you're looking for a place to see a phenomenal view of the city, check out Santo Domingo. This place is a little less touristy and you can embrace the culture. There's a metro cable to access Santo Domingo, and you can enjoy some amazing street food there. Parapente, or in English, paragliding. This is one of my favorite activities in the entire city. The experience is absolutely exhilarating. You run, you jump off a mountain and glide through the air. The view is outstanding, and the place is located in a mountain called San Felix and costs about 160,000 pesos, which includes transportation. Alright, so now let's talk about Cartagena. Cartagena has a little bit of everything for everyone, and it's a unique city where you have everything from an older colonial style part to a very modern part with big buildings, fancy restaurants and shops, kind of like Miami, and of course beautiful islands. Now, a must-see of the city is the old colonial part. It's called La Ciudad Amurallada. The smaller buildings are really cute. They have a colonial style feel to them. There's a lot of detail and color in the buildings, and they each have unique windows, doors, and there's different horse and carriages riding around the city. And while you're there, this area has a lot of great restaurants, and you have to try the pescado. There's different types. It's so delicious. And also the arroz de coco and la limonada de coco. They're both excellent. If you're looking for a great view of the city, I recommend El Cerro de la Popa. This is probably the best view and most popular view in Cartagena, and it has a complete panoramic view of the city where you can see the old colonial area and Boca Grande, which is the part that looks like Miami. It's the most elevated point in the city, and you can see, you know, again, everything from both the cities and the islands in the ocean. And the favorite thing I did while I was in Cartagena was visiting Las Islas Rosarios. It's an archipelago of 30 islands, and you can visit about 8 of them. And what you can do is they have special offers where you can go for a day to visit one of these islands, and it includes lunch, dinner, and transportation there and back. And also, if you want to spend a little bit longer on the islands and enjoy the transparent and crystal waters, they have resorts there as well where you can, you know, stay for as many nights as you want. Now, I really hope this video helped you guys in your decision to travel to Colombia and the perception of Colombia that you may have had of it being dangerous. I really hope you enjoy your visit and stay safe and enjoy the beauty of this country. It is one of my favorite countries in the whole wide world. If you like this video, of course, subscribe to the channel for more videos of my future travels just like this one. I appreciate you guys. I'm Marissa, and I'll talk to you later.